What?
Nothing?
Good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Ricketts-Swales, the Vice Chair of the Human Services Committee. I'll be chairing this meeting this morning, or this afternoon, excuse me. First up, roll call.
Mrs. Burdick, Mrs. Ricketts-Swales.
Here.
Mr. Sear,
Here.
Mrs. Hanchett,
Here.
Mr. Healy,
Here.
Mrs. Root. Here. Mr. Rumfelt.
Here.
And Mr. Harris. 6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the minutes from our meeting on December 7th, 2022. Can I have a
I'll make a motion, Seer.
Root will second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Moving on to, and bear with us, folks, we have quite a long agenda today. Moving on to Tyler Shaw, Public Health Director. Good afternoon, Tyler.
Good afternoon. Start right in on my monthly report.
Yes, sir.
Nothing too crazy to report on the monthly report. We're pretty steady in our lead case management. Our WIC participant numbers still do continue to climb, which is a great thing. We are participant driven in that program. We did also recently resubmit our 5-year block grant for our WIC program, and that's set to go through October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2028. So those are some updates on my monthly report. Just some highlights off the monthly report. If you haven't already checked out our county webpage, we did just put a widget up last week, COVID-19 isolation and exposure calculator. So if you want to try that out, go ahead and test that out. Also for the public, it's out there as well. We were notified last week as well that the health department will receive $200,000 per year through 2027 from the CDC Infrastructure and Workforce Funding Grant. And those contracts are due to come to us sometime in the first quarter of this year. Any questions?
Are you keeping track more or less of the COVID numbers now?
Still keeping our same daily statistics. They are posted on our webpage. So we'll continue that indefinitely for the time being.
Gotcha. Anybody else have questions for?
Just a quick one here. Tyler, the WIC program, that used to be, well, once upon a time that was based on health issues. Is that still a criteria or is it income-based?
It's income-based.
So, okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Madam Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Barnes?
I have a question. The COVID vaccinations, the original and the boosters, I've been hearing a lot about the boosters are not really doing that much good, in some cases causing more problems than the possible good. What's the current position of your health department on that?
The current position of our department is get your bivalent booster. That's what it was developed for, is those multiple strains. That gives you the best protection at this point from serious illness. As you've seen, we have not seen, knock on wood, a lot of deaths from COVID. As we saw when COVID first hit, we were reporting several a week at least. We're not in the same situation we were back then.
Well, the concerns that I'm hearing are that there are other problems caused by the booster shots, the original and the booster shots. Are you hearing any reports of that at all?
From our department, no, but we always encourage every person to talk with their healthcare provider based on their medical history. They'll let you know what the risks and benefits are for that specific individual.
Thank you.
Good answer. We have some agreements and requests.
First is agreement with Rochester Regional Health Laboratory for our sexual health and reproductive clinics. It's a recurring contract that we typically have with them to process our labs.
Okay. Do we have-
move.
Thank you.
Root will second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next one.
Next is our WIC breastfeeding agreement with UR Jones Memorial Hospital. This is an agreement for our WIC staff. We have an IBCLC, which is International Board Certified Lactation Consultant, to round at the hospital for WIC expecting moms to help them breastfeed. This is a recurring contract that we typically have as well.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Hanchett moves.
Rumpfeld, second.
Thank you. Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? On to the next one.
Okay. Next is a request to create and fill a WIC program coordinator. Our current WIC program coordinator is on an extended leave, so I would like to fill that position. Is vital to that program.
Root will make that motion.
Thank you.
Rumpfeld, second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I guess my question is that a full-time position or part-time?
It is a full-time
Okay.
position.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Keep on, our
All right.
next request.
Next request is a request to create and fill an early intervention service coordinator. This position, you'll see our next request is to accept and appropriate funds. Those funds are for this position.
Okay, perfect. Motion?
Hanchett moves.
Is there a second?
Rumpfeld, second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. And I think your last one?
Last one is a request to accept and appropriate additional monies for our children and youth with special health care needs program. And you see on the MOE there what I'd like to do. There was an updated MOE. There's a budget adjustment that I need to make, as well as accept and appropriations.
Do we have a motion?
Root will make that motion.
Rumpfeld,
Yeah.
second.
Any discussion or questions?
Yes, Tyler, that's money coming in, is that correct?
Yes.
Revenues,
And
revenues
just-
for us? Thank you.
Yes. Yep. Additional $33,340 from the state.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon. Thank you for everything that you're doing for us. Next up, we have Edna Kays, Social Services Commissioner.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Tyler left the mic on for me. I'm really pleased with that. The report, if Legislator Healy, I heard you earlier in the day talking about raise the lower age. Raise the lower age. Those are for children from the ages 7 to 12.
Yes, Commissioner.
That belongs in the Department of Social Services. So I can give you a little brief update on what we've done. We have written a plan to the Office of Children and Family Services to satisfy the needs of raise the lower age. It is meant to be a differential response, a trauma-informed response. It is a voluntary program for up to 90 days or until the child turns 12. We will be referral sourcing any of the programming that the children need. And we will also, right now, we're working on preparing letters to law enforcement and to schools, although we have met with some schools in our usual school meetings and explained the program. So we are working on that right now.
Thank you.
Unfunded mandate.
Right, and
Just so you know.
I guess I was somewhat familiar with that.
Yes.
But I'm glad that you reminded us all of that and that you're moving ahead in a positive direction and for keeping on top of that. Thank you, Commissioner.
Yep. Very welcome. Also, if you want to know the RTA numbers, I can give you those too. We get that report every so often. In between 20 and 22, there were 7 adolescent offenders. Those remain within the DA's office. What happened with those, I cannot speak to that, but what I can speak to is that we've had 1 raise the age placement in that time period.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Do you want to continue with your monthly report, or?
Just one other nice thing. Heidi Jordan, one of our principal supervisors, she finished her bachelor's degree this December
Nice.
and received her bachelor's degree in community and human services. Very, very happy for her.
Good. Congratulations to her. Now we have some requests
Yes,
and some contracts.
yes. So we're looking to fill a support investigator and any resulting backfills. This support investigator has taken a job with the courts. That's been her desire. It's a annual salary of 41,000 thereabouts to 52,241, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to fill that.
Root will make a motion.
Thank you.
Hanchett seconds.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? On to our next request then.
So we're looking to fill an account clerk typist. Was stolen by probation, just saying. But that salary is 33,000 thereabouts to 39,150, and we're hoping that you'll approve us to fill that.
Rumpfeld will move.
Thank you.
Hanchett seconds.
Thank you. Any discussion? It's the same position. We're just replacing someone, correct?
Yes,
All right.
it's within the budget.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on.
I guess I'm going to hold off on this one till later, is that correct? As well? Or can we move to accept that?
Is this the same as a warming center?
So it is to accept and appropriate the Code Blue grant. Regardless of whether we
Okay.
move forward with the warming center, this funding is the funding that we need to support Code Blue, which we're required to give, which we're
Right.
required to.
You can do this one now.
That's
It's the
what I
two
thought.
agreements on the rest of it that you'll
Okay.
be doing separately.
Okay, thank you.
So the grant totals $273,623. It's already budgeted for the 2023 budget. We are requesting to accept that.
Motion
Rumpfeld will move.
second.
Hanchett seconds.
Is there any discussion on this part?
Nope, I guess the only thing I'd like to say is this is to accept the funding for this mandated program that we are,
Yes, thank you
Okay.
for that clarification, yes.
I think you made it clear. I just wanted to clarify for, thank you, Edna.
Yep.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on, safe harbor.
So Safe Harbor is, we are looking to accept an additional amount of state aid in the amount of $8,670, which our original budget, we originally budgeted for $43,350, but OCFS says, we're doing such a great job, we'll give you some more money.
Nice.
So I'm asking to accept the $8,670. It is, as you can see, the budget in front of you.
Root will make that motion.
Thank you.
Rumpfeld will second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Good job. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on.
I'm looking to ask for acceptance of the federal aid for the Captive Care Program, Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention and Treatment Act. The total of that is $50,000. It's a yearly grant.
Motion.
Hanchett makes a motion.
Rumpfeld will second.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. On to the next one, the CAC donations.
Yep, so we are looking to accept and appropriate donation of funds that were awarded to the Child Advocacy Center during the Santa's Day Off, which is the radio station in Olean works with us to bring in toys for families. And we received $50 from Pamela Spink, $50 from Kathleen McLean, and $50 from Richard Bales, and we're looking for the acceptance of that donation.
Root will make the motion.
Thank you. Second.
Hanchett seconds.
Thank you. Any discussion? I'd like to thank those people who made those donations.
Very kind.
All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Moving on to the next one, foster care donations.
Looking to seek a resolution to accept and appropriate the donation of funds that were given to us by Legislator Ricky to support the annual foster care Christmas party in the amount of $100. Did you all move chairs?
Yes.
Yeah. Rumpfeld will move that.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Thank you.
Hanchett seconds.
Any questions?
Thank you, Legislator Ricky.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, on to the request for contracts. So we spoke earlier, and I'm going to have Ms. Kays explain the term, the amount, and the service of many of these contracts, leaving out the 2 warming centers. And then we will vote on all of those at once, and then we will go back and pick up the warming centers.
And I just want to maybe explain, my understanding is they are all renewals except
Yes.
for the warming centers. The warming centers are new contracts, and that's why you handle them separately than renewals.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, here we go. So requesting to approve the renewal of the consulting and payroll contract for the time period of January 2023 through December 2023 between DSS and Ardent Solutions for the Child Advocacy Center. The appropriations are in the amount of $247,849. It's 100% federal reimbursement.
Thank you.
We are looking to request a resolution to approve the renewal of the medical consultation services contract for the time period of January of '23 through December of '23 between DSS and Dr. John Coyne, who is our medical director for the Allegheny County Child Advocacy Center, in the amount of $24,000, again, 100% federal reimbursement.
Thank you.
Looking for a renewal of a medical laboratory and testing contract for the time period of January 23 through December 23 between DSS and Olean General Hospital for, as billed at the Medicaid rate for the Allegheny County Child Advocacy Center, and that is also 100% federal reimbursement.
Thank you.
Requesting a renewal for the sexual assault nurse examiner pediatric position at $300 per exam for the time period of January 23 through December of 23 between DSS and Cheryl Weir for the Allegheny County Child Advocacy Center, and that is also 100% federal reimbursement.
Thank you.
Looking for a resolution to approve the renewal of the law enforcement consulting services contract for the time period of January of '23 through December of '23 between DSS and the Cattaraugus County Sheriff's Department in the amount of $30,000 for the Allegheny County Child Advocacy Center, 100% federal reimbursement.
Thank you.
Requesting a resolution for renewal of janitorial services contract for the time period of January of '23 through December of '23 between DSS and the Cattaraugus County Rehabilitation Center in tandem in the amount of $2,399.64 for the Allegheny County Child Advocacy Center, 100% federal reimbursement.
Thank you.
Looking for a resolution to approve the renewal of community-based mentoring contract for the time period of January 23 through December of 23 between DSS and Ready Youth Services for the amount of $247,000. The contract is budgeted in the 23 budget. It's 100% federal reimbursement up to the Title 20 allocation, 62% open-ended state reimbursement after the federal reimbursement, and the allocation is maximized.
Thank you. You're doing great.
Looking for a request of a resolution to approve the renewal of the employment and education services for the contract period January of '23 through December of '23 between DSS and Southern Tier Traveling Teachers, one of my favorite programs, in the amount of $134,650. They're all my favorite, but $134,650. It's 100% federal flexible funds for family services reimbursement. Say that 10 times fast. requesting a resolution to approve the renewal of SHAPE contract for the time period of January 23 through December of 23 between DSS and Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Rochester in the amount of $193,523. It is in the current, in the 23 contract at 62% open-ended state reimbursement. Requesting to approve the renewal of the preventive services contract with Families Together between DSS and Parent Education Program in the amount of $148,523. It is budgeted for 23, 100% federal reimbursement up to the Title 20 allocation.
Thank you.
Come on. Requesting a resolution to approve from January 23 to December 23, contract with Jason Burrows for an annual lease of an apartment of $12,000. It is contracted in the, or it is budgeted in the current year. It's 100% federal reimbursement, Emergency Solutions Grant.
Thank you.
Requesting a resolution to approve the renewal of the mental health consultation services for the contract time period of January 23 through December 23 between DSS and Dr. Craig Zuckerman for the Allegheny County Child Advocacy Center in the amount of $12,000, 100% federal reimbursement.
Thank you.
Requesting a resolution to approve the renewal of home care services contracted for the time period of January of 23 through December of 23 between DSS and WillCare. Contract is not expended through Allegheny County funds for initial expenditures. Expenditures are paid to the contractor directly by the New York State Department of Health. Expenditures are part of the Medicaid cap calculation.
Thank you. Very good. Can I have a motion to renew those contracts?
Rumfeld will make it.
Second?
Hanchett seconds.
Any discussion or questions on those contracts?
Make a comment, if I might. Going back to the one with Craig Zuckerman, we're very fortunate to still have him providing those services. Thank you.
He has retired, but I won't let him. We have a great relationship with him.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're going to go back to the warming centers.
Okay. So, my understanding is that you may have received some email or letters from the Village of Belmont. I want you to know that I do not intend for this relationship or to be antagonistic with the Village of Belmont. Wherever, I've been trying to get a warming center for a couple of years. Wherever it will be, I'm not going to give up. And it's okay with me if it is wherever it lands, as long as we find a way to service those people during Code Blue. So, given that, I have talked to Ready. Ready will staff it wherever we decide it goes. And Accord will continue to do their part wherever we decide it goes, so that we try to transition people from Code Blue life to temporary housing. And we will also continue to put our hat in the ring to help with that. So for me, whatever you decide is absolutely fine. Whatever you think is best for the county is absolutely fine. I don't want to be antagonistic with anybody. So I'm going to give this a whirl. So I'm going to request a resolution to approve the warming center contract for the time period of January 23 through December 23.
Actually, Edna, I'm sorry, I'm going to correct you just because, well, the grant period was
Oh, yes,
10/1/2022 to September 30th, 2023. So
She
we
is
need
correct.
to fix that MOE on both of those.
Sorry about that. She
That's
is
okay.
correct. through that code blue
Okay.
period.
Thank
Say
you.
those dates again, please.
So we want our
October.
contract to match the grant period. We
Right.
just approved the money for it, and that it runs from October 1st of 2022 through September 30th of 2023. So these contracts run on the grant cycle that the state provides money for, so that we can then claim the money.
So
Okay.
sorry about that.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Got a lot on your plate.
There is. So requesting a resolution to approve the warming center contract for the period of, so said the county administrator, between DSS and Ready Youth Services in the amount of $194,370. This is 100% state reimbursement under the Code Blue contract.
Do I have a motion for
Who will
that?
make that motion?
A second? Discussion, or, second.
Hanchett seconds.
Thank you, sorry. Discussion or questions?
This is just to accept the money, is that correct? Not any location, specific location?
Yeah, any location so that we're able to staff that in the time period that somebody's there.
Ready is the staffing.
Ready is the staffing, yeah.
And if you were to use it. The mic's back there, stopped working. I believe the way it works, if you were to use it, then you would be able to put the claim in for the money that you just accepted earlier. So if you don't use it, there won't be any money claimed on that budget acceptance. Does that
Okay,
make sense?
all right, thank you.
So if we staff it, we need to be able to pay the staff. We would use that money from the money that you've accepted.
But we haven't picked a site yet, or we have?
So our thought was that we were going to use the Ready Building. We have supplied it with cots and dividers, and there's been some work done on the building. When we were ready to move forward, we decided that we should probably call codes and the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance and check out to see what we would need to do from there to open it. So we did. We contacted codes in the village, and they came out and they looked at it, gave us the corrections that we needed to make. We made those corrections. That's how the village became aware, and we've since met with the village twice.
Yeah.
And so we're hopeful, but we're also, however it turns out, it turns out.
Yeah, one of my only concerns is that there's a lack of services here in the village for those clients that you don't have restaurants, viable restaurants or grocery stores or hospitals or anything like that. It would seem to if they could be closer to those services, that would be a better fit for them and for our first responders also.
That is probably a very good thought. But so you know that we only operate the warming center between the hours of 4:30 and 8:30 in the morning.
Right.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
One of the questions too is, depending on the numbers and so forth, I heard Jeff Lucky talk about it earlier. Many times there are other warming centers in closer locations for some of the people that need to get to the warming centers. And my understanding it's not necessarily homeless, but it could be seniors or.
Right, it could be somebody whose heat is off because the electric is off. It could be varying reasons, not necessarily always homeless, no.
And I think Legislator Hanchett, maybe my mic's now working back here again. The difference in what Mr. Lucky was talking about was that those were some fire agencies that voluntarily opened their fire halls. They're under no responsibility to do so. The county is mandated to have this code blue, and whether or not we contract and have agreements to help this, or we put people up in hotel rooms or come up with some other arrangement, we are mandated to have this on days where the temperature with a wind chill
Below 35.
below 35 or 32? 32, I was going to say.
I didn't do so
Freezing.
well in science.
And there are some times when we just don't have enough beds other places, and this past 2 weeks ago during that big winter storm was one of them.
Well, there again, my only concern is that those needs are usually go hand in hand with the needs for others, for food, shelter outside of the warming period, medical care, and all that, which none of which we have here in the village of Belmont.
So our hope was that in the morning that we could do that temporary housing situation to try to hook them up with those needs, but I understand what you're saying.
Now, is there transport, like the biggest need that I've seen is probably Wellsville, where they have all the indigents and homeless people there that hang out, and you see them sleeping in the parks, you see them sleeping on a street corner there. So my thing, wouldn't it be more beneficial, because how are they gonna get to the warming center if they,
So right now, we do house Code Blue people, and we do have them provide their own transportation. The state police on occasion will provide that transportation for us, for those people, not for us, for those people. But they do manage, right now, we've been utilizing the motel in Cuba, and they do manage to get there.
Madam Chairman, I have one more question. The other thing too, I remember when this grant was brought forth to us, and it talked about social services and then Accord also being on staff in the morning to provide those extra services and needs. Is that still part of this,
That will
what we're
still be
looking at?
part of it regardless of where it is.
Okay, thank you very much.
So can I just clarify in my own head here? We are voting on a contract with Ready, which will service this warming center wherever you end up putting it, correct?
That's correct, yes.
So really, that's what we're talking about right now, am I correct? County Administrator shaking her head, yes.
You are correct on the ready
you.
contract, that is what that one
Thank
is
you.
for.
So this is not about location, this is just about staffing?
Yes.
Thank you.
Call the question.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Well, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Moving on to the next one, which is the Accord Warming Center.
Requesting a resolution to approve the warming center contract for the period of,
I turned off my email, but I believe. 10/1/2022, yeah. And this is what you might call like wraparound services. These are the people that are gonna come in the morning and try to hook people
wraparound
up with
services,
services.
yes.
Okay.
They will be the ones that provide the services in the morning in the hopes to find temporary housing situations for people that are homeless. And it's 100% state aid reimbursement under the Code Blue contract
Okay.
for
so-
$20,616.
Rumpel to move?
Thank you.
second it.
Thank you. Any discussion? Or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
I think,
Can I ask a question before we leave and before you're done, Edna? If you're looking for a building to put this warming center in, what are the requirements? What do you need? And there's a lot of people listening, hopefully, and
oh, good idea.
what type of building do you need for this warming center?
It just needs to be able to fit those 8 cots. It needs to have heat. It supplies services where we can have staffing there throughout the night. It just needs to be a safe place to have the warming center. Obviously, it has to,
Does it have to have a kitchen? Obviously, it has to have bathroom facilities,
it has
but
to have
does it
bathroom
need a kitchen?
facilities. It does not have to have a kitchen, but we would supply coffee in the morning, or
It'd be helpful to have
it
some,
would be helpful to have a kitchen.
okay, thank you.
Does it have to have a shower or bathrooms
It has
enough?
to have a bathroom, yes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Happy New Year.
Next up is Anita Madison, Office of the Aging Director. Good afternoon, Anita.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good.
Thanks. The first thing on our agenda is the monthly report. I do have a correction on the monthly report. The personal emergency response units, there was 190 individuals served, and it does say 192 units of service. That should be 190 units. So that is a correction that needs to be made.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any questions on the monthly report? Okay. Right.
So
the
now,
fir-
yeah, now we have some lease agreements.
Yep. The first thing we have is a lease agreement. We're looking to enter into a lease for Alfred Luncheon Center, which is the Alfred Union University Church, at a cost of up to $17.50 per day for when we use it, and that has been included in the 2023 budget.
Okay, motion,
Ruth will make a motion.
second,
Hanchett seconds.
discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, on to the next lease.
Thank you. The next one is a lease for the Belmont Legion, which is the Herbert DeLong American Legion. There is no cost for our Belmont Luncheon Center, so this is just to enter into a lease to continue to have our luncheon center there.
Motion Seer.
Rumpfeld, a second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to Cancerega.
Thank you. This lease is for the Canastariga Fire Department. Again, they don't charge us to have our luncheon center there. This is just to renew our lease to continue to have it at that location.
Motion Seer.
Thank you.
Rumpfeld, second.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And now Fillmore.
The next one is for the William Brooks Hose Company, which is the Fillmore Fire Company. This is at $11 per day, so this is up $1 from last year, and that is included in our 2023 budget to
Motion
continue.
Seer.
Thank you.
Second, Rumpfeld.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And as we do our cross-county thing going on here, friendship.
The next one is Friendship, that is with the town of Friendship. We have our luncheon center at the community center in Friendship, and there is no cost for us to hold it there.
Motion Seer.
Second,
Ruth,
Rumpfeld.
seconds.
Okay.
Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And not least, Waitsville.
So this is for the Waitsville Fire Hall, the fire district. This is $12, so this is up $1 from last year, but this is to hold our Waitsville luncheon site.
Motion Seer.
Thank you. Second,
Hanchett seconds.
thank you. Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Anything else? Mr. Fenton?
Yeah, is Bolivar not in that mix anymore, or?
Oh, there are there are actually 3 more contracts that I'm waiting for, but I didn't have the rates finalized before committee, so they'll be
they're
next
still
month.
operational?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Well, thank you for everything that you do and Happy New Year.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is Dr. Anderson, who I do not see. And I don't think there's anyone here from his office, so we'll go on to old business. Is there any old business? Any new business? Good for the order. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, as there appears to be no other business to come before the Human Services Committee today, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Hanchett seconds.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.